Now on Valley News Live 10 at 10, Senator Rand Paul bashes Homeland Security, how he ties it to Fargo. Napa, California residents woke up to their city being rocked by the strongest earthquake in years. And how a city in South Dakota is using Fargo police to help improve a local park.
Live from Fargo and serving you on TV, online and on the go. This is Valley News Live 10 at 10.
A possible presidential candidate in the 2016 election takes a stab at Homeland Security wasting tax dollars, specifically in Fargo. Good evening and thank you for joining us. I'm Krista Bain. The militarization of police forces around the country and here at home is an issue we've been focusing on for almost a year. Today, a potential 2016 presidential candidate blasted the Department of Homeland Security for how much they have spent on military gear for cops here in Fargo. Valley News Team's Christina Craig looks into the comments made by Senator Rand Paul and has a reaction from Fargo police. Christina?
Krista, long before the cops clashed with protesters in Ferguson, we were examining just how much Fargo and Cass County officials were spending on military hardware. Hardware long reserved for the use on the battlefield, now being used by cops on the street. Kentucky Senator Rand Paul is raising questions about the expenditures, too. The expenditures included millions of dollars for high-tech weaponry, military-styled tactical clothing, and this, an armored personal carrier called a Bearcat. Some have linked the Bearcat to a tank and are concerned the equipment could be used against citizens. In an interview last year, the Fargo Police Department told us they see it differently.
Our goal here is to be as prepared as possible to deal with the crime issues that either are occurring within our community or at least have the potential to occur here.
But you just won't.
Speaking today on the Meet the Press, Senator Rand Paul questions the Department of Homeland Security for wasting tax dollars, specifically $8 million Fargo law enforcement received in DHS funds for military gear and equipment.
Homeland Security gave $8 million to Fargo to fight terrorism in Fargo, North Dakota. And I say, if the terrorists get to Fargo, we might as well give up. I say that as a joke, but I mean, it's like, what are we doing spending $8 million in Fargo? What are we doing sending a tank?
Rand Paul says Fargo is not alone and also questions why other rural cities in the U.S. have recently received militarized equipment. I tried to reach out to the senator and have not yet heard a response. Krista?
Thank you, Christina. We also tried reaching out to Fargo police. They have not yet released a statement, but told us they have no knowledge of receiving $8 million in Homeland Security funding. And they told us they do not believe Senator Paul's statement applies to the Fargo Police Department, even though he named Fargo specifically. Later on Valley News Live, we'll show you how the work of Fargo police is getting noticed in a neighboring state to help police curb the level of public drinking. And we have an update to a story we first brought you last night. 2 cats were actually rescued from an apartment fire in North Fargo that broke out last night. Fargo fire crews arrived at 1014 17th Street North just before 9 last night, where smoke and flames could be seen from the southwest corner of the building. The person living in the apartment at the time was not home, but fire crews were able to get the cats out safely that were in there. But of them, one was given oxygen and taken to an animal emergency clinic. No one was injured, and the cause of the fire is still under investigation. 10 at 10 continues with an American released after being held captive in Syria since 2012. Secretary of State John Kerry issued a statement today announcing the release of Theo Curtis. It added that the U.S. is using every diplomatic intelligence and military tool at its disposal to secure the release of other Americans being held in Syria. News of Curtis's release comes just days after ISIS militants executed American journalist James Foley. Now is your chance to stop corruption in your community. If you discover something suspicious, call our whistleblower team and we'll work to investigate it. You can call our whistleblower hotline now at 701-237-6576 and leave your tip. Well, the time has come and all too fast if you're a West Fargo student. Monday kicks off the new school year. From clothes shopping to grabbing those essentials, you aren't the only one preparing. West Fargo police are gearing up too. Typically within the first week, school zones become clustered with traffic. West Fargo police say car accidents and speeding violations increase. To make sure your kids are safe, police will ramp up patrols, and plan to have a total of 11 officers on duty for the first day back, one in each school.
The main thing is be patient, because the traffic will increase compared to an average morning, just because there's buses on the road, there's parents that are new to dropping their students off at the school. So the main thing is be patient.
You may have already noticed heavy traffic as college students have made their way back into town, so give yourself plenty of extra driving time to get around. And it's the most powerful quake to hit the area in decades, and you can see what it left behind. A 6.0 magnitude earthquake struck Northern California early today, leaving thousands without power and causing at least one serious injury. Scott Thompson has more on what damage has been done.
My house was shaking, my bed was shaking, and I started screaming because I've never experienced an earthquake like this.
It's the strongest earthquake to hit the California Bay Area since 1989. The quake damaged historic buildings and left at least 15,000 residents without power Sunday. Authorities say around 100 injuries have been reported, including a young girl who is in critical condition. Napa City and county officials are asking for help from the state.
We have exhausted our local resources. We need more help than we can from the outside.
California Governor Jerry Brown has declared a state of emergency. In addition to the injuries, at least 60 water main breaks and leaks have been reported. The quake caused 6 major fires. Several mobile homes were destroyed in one of them. Officials say calm is prevailing.
We've had relative calm for this magnitude of an earthquake. We have not had reports of looting or anything like that.
Despite the calm, the quake terrified some residents.
It's very scary. It was the scariest thing I've ever experienced.
The U.S. Geological Survey says multiple aftershocks have occurred, ranging from 2.6 to 3.6 magnitude. I'm Scott Thompson reporting.
The USGS also reports that 15,000 people experienced severe shaking and thousands more felt very strong or moderate shaking. A City of Napa official says water remains safe to drink, but so far 16 buildings have been marked as uninhabitable. And we've experienced some strong storms overnight across the valley. In Dickey County, reports ranged from 3 to 5 inches of rain. This heavy rainfall caused excessive road damage in the western part of Dickey County from the state line up to the Lemoore County line. Anyone traveling in this area in the next few days should keep an eye out for cut roads, gravel washes, standing and moving water, especially on any back roads. And as that severe weather moved through, our storm team hit the road and caught the one storm in the country to put down confirmed tornadoes, 2 total. This is the video as meteorologist Robert Hahn and storm chaser Eric Whitehill watched and caught the tornado touching the ground near Crespart, South Dakota, just right outside of our viewing area. It caused minor damage to 2 farmsteads in the area.
Valley News Live 10 at 10 continues with no wait weather.
Great job on catching that storm, guys.
I know, it must have been exciting, but a little scary out there.
Yeah, incredible video. You saw in that wider view, we saw the funnel there, and that one, I believe, was rated at EF0 with 80-mile-per-hour winds. And then just a little bit farther down the line there, the storm once again produced another tornado. So a wild day yesterday for a lot of us. Last night, too, a lot of people woken up by some heavy rain, some strong wind, and lightning, of course, associated with those storms that really rocked through the valley through the overnight hours and into this morning. Here's a look at some of our rain totals. The big winner so far, Ellendale, where we are dealing with the flooding there, 3.7 inches there. Daisy at 3.5. Aberdeen, they had to pull some people out of their cars, rescue them because they became stranded in floodwaters there overnight, almost 3 inches there. Grand Forks had a good amount, 2.21. And Fargo, North Dakota, officially at 6,700ths of an inch, but some places got closer to an inch of rain in the FM metro. So lots of spots, even over into Minnesota, saw some heavy rain too. Here's a look at our rainfall estimates. It's a pretty colorful picture here over the weekend. Anywhere you see some yellows, that's where the radar is estimating an inch or more of rain fell. So that's a huge part of eastern North Dakota. Also out west, we had some heavy rain there. And then today's rain that's moved through, we'll get to that in a moment, but we've seen some rain into Lakes Country that surpassed an inch, but by far the heavier stuff here in eastern North Dakota. I just picked out a couple of spots. Radar estimating in northwest Steele County 5 inches of rain. It's possible, but certainly quite a bit. Reports of more than 3 inches. Over down toward just northwest of Lisbon, a little over 3, and of course by Ellendale, Forbes, we got about 3 inches of rain there as well. Here's the current radar picture. Nice and quiet here in the valley. Earlier tonight, we had a tornado watch in effect for our far eastern counties. Those storms have pushed on off to the east into the Arrowhead of Minnesota, just moved through Duluth and now moving through northwestern parts of Wisconsin. Also impacted the state fair down there. They got some good rain there as well. And I just want to show you how this formed through the evening hours tonight, because we did have that tornado watch. As we go back to the beginning part of this loop here in just a few moments, you can see they formed right on the edges of our viewing area and then just blossomed up here in central and then eastern parts of Minnesota. So we just missed out on these severe storms by a 50 to 100 mile margin there. So we kind of lucked out as far as seeing severe weather, but another tornado was reported in parts of Minnesota. This is all associated with a huge storm that's impacting us. This arm spiraling around a low pressure center, and this is going to be impacting us for the next 24 hours or so. We may still see some clouds, a couple of sprinkles, and in addition to that, some cooler air moving in. Right now, temperatures in the 60s across much of the area, 68 degrees in Fargo, 63 in Grand Forks. So as we move through the nighttime hours tonight and into tomorrow morning, we're going to watch those temperatures dip down into the 50s, waking up tomorrow in the low to mid 50s across much of the area. So as some students are heading back to school, a little cooler at the bus stop. And up in the Northern Valley, more clouds there because we're going to be feeling the influence of that low pressure system. And in addition to that, a couple of sprinkles to start off your day too. This is 7 a.m. and still a little bit on the breezy side as well. You can see the wind still out of the west at this point and gusting into the 20s at times here. And by 9 o'clock, heading off to work, temperatures back to around 60 degrees. Noon, staying cool. It's going to be a big difference between the Northern Valley and the Southern Valley. We'll see some sunshine down to the south, up to the north, more cloud cover there, and that'll keep our temperatures in the 50s in a lot of places around lunchtime. Eventually, by the afternoon, some upper 60s in the Southern Valley, but some places never making it out of the 50s tomorrow. So much chillier, a little taste of fall for us as this cooler air punches in behind this low pressure system. So a cool day ahead of us. 68 degrees the high in Fargo, and on the breezy side too, so it won't feel very pleasant. You'll definitely want to have that jacket on hand for the day. So for Monday, a slight chance for a sprinkle or two as the system tries to exit, and with it, a chance for some 50s for highs, but in the Southern Valley, a little warmer, getting close to 70. On Tuesday, we reach that number, and then eventually through the work week, we edge our way back up to 80 degrees to round it out. And in addition to that, a chance for some rain and thunder Friday. The weekend, back into the 80s.
It's surprising to see that 50 there, it seems already.
It's a little chilly. You're going to have to get used to this maybe down the road, but it is still August. We still are in the middle of summer. We're doing okay. We'll warm back up to the 80s.
Yeah. Thank you so much. And we want to thank you for submitting your weather photos to our Facebook page. Remember to like Valley News Live on Facebook for all your weather updates, along with the latest news on your feed. And later on Valley News Live at 10, the work done to improve downtown Fargo by police is serving as a stepping stone for other law enforcement.
You're watching Valley News Live on TV, online, and on the go. Always on, wherever you are, whenever you need to know. Valley News Live.